Yo, what's up, guys? So we're back for another year. Just before getting today's episode, like and subscribe to our YouTube. Also buy some merch. We have a new co-host, and he costs a lot of money. We need money, so definitely buy some merch. Grindhouse.store.
He's been on the podcast before, but I reached out to him because like he's one of the original people growing up that like we would talk hours on end about hip hop. Like me and you would like just be driving around Lynn, fucking trying to get food somewhere, and we'd just be talking random shit about hip hop all the time. That's really like those conversations are really kind of like the root, the foundations for like really what this podcast has become. Because I really enjoy those conversations, and like I when podcasting became a thing, I wanted to have those conversations more and hopefully have people that might be into those conversations, be a part of it. So I want to introduce my homie, one of my closest friends, but he's like a brother to me, John Lee, aka JDM John,
Hey guys,
flying in
thanks for having me.
from sunny San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am originally from Lynn, but yeah, thanks guys for having me on. Look forward to more topics and good conversations. I know we always get into good hip hop talks. So.
Yeah, so we have a few good topics. We're starting the year with some good news and obviously some pretty bad news. So I'll kick it to you, Critta. I don't know where you want to start, but we got some good and bad news to talk about.
All right.
I'll
So
let
we
you
want
decide
to
where you
we
want to go.
want to start with topics. Is that sort of what we want to go with, or do we want to start with albums or?
No, I'll let you. I'll let you be the point guard, bro. You
All
decide.
right, cool. Let's start with topics. Do we want to start with negative or positive?
You're the point guard. Dish it out.
I'm the point guard, but
Yes.
I just passed the ball to you.
Oh, god damn it. All right, so let's just start with the negative. We got a couple more deaths.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, this one, like MF Doom, is like one of my favorite artists that just like his story is so ridiculous in hip hop lore that like I really hope that more people now can appreciate him now that he's gone. Like, I think like because he's mostly underground, but MF Doom is one of these people that like he's underground, but at the same time, mad white college bros know who MF Doom is, so he's kind of like mainstream in that realm. So I'm hearing some like crazy fucking skipping over here. I don't know if it's my audio or what, but let me know. Um, but yeah, MF Doom passed away. Apparently, he passed away on August 31st. I think from that post, I think it was August 31st. He passed away, and I don't know, that tore me up.
Yeah. No, it's awful. And MF Doom, like he obviously was super creative, and he honestly tried a bunch of different stuff, brought in, even like sort of that comic book sort of type rap, creating characters. Yeah, super dope. Awful that we lost him. But he's definitely someone that like people like, really big artists respect him too. And the underground respects him as well. So
Yeah, I mean, from like MF Doom itself, right? He's like such like a revered underground rapper, right? I mean, like I think a lot of people loved him, like you said, Ed, and also like he just kind of brought that whole other element of like kind of the mysteriousness. When I found out about him passing, it was actually like so random because I thought in my mind I was like, this is a very MF Doom way of finding out that he passed away. Like he could have very well have just disappeared and we could have never heard from him ever again. And I don't think any one of us would have ever thought he passed. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like he's just mysterious in that sense. And, respectfully, hope he went peacefully and all that good stuff. But yeah, definitely lost a major part of hip hop with him going.
Yeah, man. I appreciate MF Doom. Just like the I mean, you guys know his story, right? Like he was like in a hip hop group with his brother. His brother passed away. I'm forgetting how he died, but you know, his brother passing away had a huge toll on him. And when it came to his music, like I guess like they were when he was in the rap group with his brother, they were focused on making music the way that like was the typical way of an artist coming up and getting discovered and putting out music, which wasn't like what he particularly enjoyed. And once his brother passed, he felt like, fuck that shit, I'm gonna do shit my own way. And that's when MF Doom was born. That's like when the legend of MF Doom was born. Like out of that tragedy came like just like a trailblazer in music, you know? And you know, like I said, like he's one of these people where it's like he's just off of sheer character of who he is and what it became and that like the iconic mask that he wears, like he's able to get some crossover success. Like one of the few rappers where you can be talking to a fucking, like I said, like a some random white dude from the suburbs, you know, and he would know who MF Doom is. Like he was that type of like underground rapper where you can like, you know, like everybody fucked with him. Everybody can appreciate the kind of rapper he was, even though he wasn't your typical rapper. Like he wasn't like a Drake. He wasn't like, you know, he was just like he was a spitter. He was an MC on the mic. He was an MC, and everybody appreciated that shit about him. So, damn man, I don't know. I'm fucked up still.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a big loss. So rest in peace. All right. So do we want to switch over to? We'll just keep up with the negative stuff, I guess, and we'll get to the good stuff. So let's talk about so Lynn recently. There was a situation that happened in Lynn. Was it probably like 2 weeks ago now? But there was a shooting during a music video shoot. And I think one person passed away, and so awful. And 6 people, I believe, were shot. So yeah, awful. And obviously for us, you know, a music video shoot, so that hits home for us. So
yeah, man, I don't know. I forgot who told me about initially, like who told me or how I found out initially. But obviously, as somebody who is shooting around Lynn constantly, Lynn is typically the place where I'm shooting, you know, a music video or whatever. Like I do a lot of things around Lynn, or obviously in the street. That is very unsettling. It's very unsettling. And it makes me even now like I'm kind of afraid to shoot anything outside right now, honestly. Not only do you have COVID, you know, where it's like I'm afraid of getting because like I like just by my health condition, I feel like if I get COVID, it could be a wrap. And now I have to worry about getting shot, you know, filming a music video. It's like that this past year in terms of like death, the idea of death and how morbid it's been to end the year in Lynn with that level of like malice, very unsettling. The thing is like what depresses me about what happened is the fact that I think Lynn hip hop in general has been very positive. I think it's been very communal. I think Lynn hip hop and artists within Lynn hip hop have done a great job of not being violent, you know, like or being like ops, like you know, like something like Chicago, where like you know we're going to talk about that a little bit later on, where like they're a little bit like Malice is their middle name, bro. Like
yeah, it's very back and forth.
You know, it is like they're at war with each other. Lynn is not that. That's not the secret sauce of Lynn. You know, Chicago's secret sauce is that like Malice. Lynn's secret sauce right now, like what's been making Lynn so successful in music is the fact that these artists are really fucking with each other and really supporting each other. You know, so when you see something like this where you know there's you know 6 people are shot, one person unfortunately loses their life. Obviously, many lives change forever. you know, you wonder like what kind of sinister shit could be behind this, and like who's safe and who's not safe. Am I safe? Am I not safe? Was that like a gang thing, and should I not have to worry because like unless I'm in with the shits like that, like, you know, it's not gonna. But like, what if like were all those people? If that's the case, were all those people with the shits? You know, were all those people involved in that life, or was it one person that was targeted and the other people, because they were around that person, were also hit? That it just, the whole thing just makes me feel sick to my stomach, and it like I said, like it scares me to go out there and shoot during a time like this. You know, because there's so many ways to die nowadays, and it's like death is always around the corner. It seems like. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. You know, I'm still relatively new to understanding how Lynn hip hop works and stuff like that, right? Really only knowing stuff from back in the day, but it feels like there's just a gray cloud over the, you know, the scene and the art of it all. You know what I mean? I think it's always, especially coming from a place like Lynn, we always want to look out for each other, and kind of almost there's like a pride in a way of people coming up from the same backgrounds and situations and familiar places, you know, wherever this video was shot. You know, I just remember thinking, you know, it's you know, like how like not to compare, like, you know, you talked about Chicago a bit, but when I think about like New York hip hop, you know, there's a real sense of pride when you see like, you know, the BX bridge or whatever, and they talk about Marcy projects, and you know, it's kind of like a piece of you know, I guess like optimism that like, you know, you could still come up out of wherever you're at in a similar place and maybe become a rapper or whatever. You know what I mean? I think Lynn hip hop kind of represents that in a lot of ways. You know, like some of the videos even you guys shoot, when I watch it, it's kind of crazy to be like, yo, that's the train station. Like, yo, I know exactly where that store is, whatever. You know, condolences to, you know, the person who lost their life, but also like, you know, I hope, like you said, this doesn't mean that like there has to be kind of like a cease to the creation of the art. You know what I mean? I kind of hope that, you know, hip hop kind of bands together, and it's kind of like, hey, you know, this has nothing to do with local hip hop or whatever it is that the scene is going to be. I think that there's a lot of positivity in hip hop. You know, we all got something out of it, all pushed us out of that lifestyle, whatever it is, you know, whatever the situations were. But yeah, yeah, I hope it doesn't long term kind of put like I guess like a cloud over hip hop, and kind of causes people to kind of feel discouraged that they can't create anymore. You know what I mean? I don't think that's what Lynn is about.
Exactly. It's a place where art is flourishing and music is flourishing, you know? And shit like this, when it happens, like, you know, it's not the way we want to go. It's not the direction we want to go. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, obviously, our hearts go out to the victims, you know, and hopefully, you know, we can stop shit like this from happening. Hopefully there's no any sort of retaliation, any stupid shit like that. And, you know, we can at least give the family some peace during this time. So, you know, rest in peace to them.
Yeah, man.
All right, so let's jump into some predictions for this this year, 2021. So who do you guys think out of our Lynn sort of hip hop scene, who's gonna have the best 2021?
Who wants to go first? Should I go first?
Yeah.
I mean, you can go first. You seem like you want to.
So I wish this was a two-parter, because I want to do like Lynn, and I want to also do like just Mass in general. Because I think like I like, so 2021 Lynn, Esty. I think I also, if we had this conversation last year, I may have also said Esty. And I think I'm just going with Esty. Esty is like Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yo, you can't go wrong with choosing Esty Knack to be.
You don't trade it. You hold on to it.
Hold on to Esty, because that dude, yeah, like I absolutely believe that he will at some point, everybody will know who he is. You know what I'm saying? Like people, like hip hop will know who Esty Knack is. Absolutely, you know.
Yeah.
And he's right there. Obviously, Griselda is very well aware. You know, he's got a lot of collaborations with a lot of really dope artists. He has an amazing camp, you know, with Al Divino. hidden character, even throwing the twin, the mellows in that. Like, yeah, man. Like I would say Esty is poised to have, I think like a breakout. I would say like a breakout 2021. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not just like a big 2021, but a breakout 2021.
Okay.
And then
Yeah.
I wanted to add a Massachusetts one to that overall Mass
Sure.
one. I don't know if you guys want to also pick that one, but I would say Saint Leor. I said Saint Leor, but I almost want to say Saint Leor and Luke Bars. It's hard to choose. It's almost a tie between those two, but watch out. They will also have a big 2021. Those are my picks.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely go Mini Mansion for Lynn. Just their whole collective. I mean, you got the Mellows getting on big tracks. Well, creating big tracks for people. You got Hidden Character, Al Davino, Essie Knack, obviously. Heavy hitters. But I'd also say the KMF guys are doing it, and I feel like they've done a lot just in a small span of time. So I feel like if they keep up that momentum, they're definitely going to get somewhere sometime this year. So, and then for Massachusetts, yeah, I would probably go with Luke Bars.
He's a safe bet. He had, I think, the best album 2020, and I think 2021. It's almost like when Kendrick got. I'm making all these big comparisons, but when Kendrick put out Good Kid, Mad City, and then didn't get nominated by the Grammys.
Yeah.
I remember that because I remember that like it was yesterday. I feel like Luke Barr is gonna have one of those follow-ups where it's like people will remember his album, Good Evil, and because that album is gonna withstand the test of time and be considered at some point to be a classic, I think he's gonna get his flowers. If not this year, then definitely the year after 2022. But I think 2021, he's a safe bet for him to have a big year, along with the Mini Mansion peeps. John, what you got?
All right. So I totally misinterpreted what this question was in terms of who would have a big 2021. I will put it out there that I didn't have a rapper in mind.
Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
Not Joe Biden.
Will Smith.
I guess like not Will Smith. I was gonna say that a lot of the people who I think are gonna do really big in 2021. This might change the scope of this conversation a bit. I was thinking that I think there's gonna be a lot of people out there that are gonna have a lot of good self-realization, and a lot of people like kind of like finding themselves and accepting who they are.
Oh, damn! You got deep with it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got introspective there. All right.
All right. So hear me out, right? So COVID is probably the strangest time that we all had to deal with. I'm not even gonna go into the whole, quarantine and all that good stuff, right? But otherwise, we were forced to be home realistically for the first times in our lives since we were like kids. You know what I mean? Like, couldn't really go outside, couldn't really go to the club, couldn't really go, too crazy. I know that we've all respectively traveled for work and stuff, but it wasn't like it was like a vacation. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so what I thought about was like what I heard a lot from at least like all the people I talk to on a regular basis, coworkers, friends, you guys, all those people, right? It seems like a lot of folks are, finally kind of like being like, well, I didn't get a chance when the world was normal to do what I really wanted to do. So you hear a lot of people talking about, like, I'm going to finally go be that artist. I'm going to finally take that certificate class. I'm finally going to, do whatever it is that they're going to do. And I think that like the biggest thing for 2021 is probably going to be that, you know what I mean? Just a lot of people kind of finally accepting who they are and kind of being more honest about what it is they want to do. You know what I mean? Like if anything, COVID's all taught us that like, if you hate your job, you really gonna hate your job right now because we could die any moment. You know what I mean? And a lot of people probably sitting at home going, oh man, like if only I became an oil painter or whatever like it is I wanted to do, I'd be way happier right now, and whatever. And I think the other good side of it is also that like I think a lot of quality is going to increase. You know what I mean? Music's going to get better, art's going to get better. I think everything's just leveling up. I mean, like some of the stuff that I see on Instagram on a regular basis, like it's so crazy. Like when we all have time, we like people achieve some crazy things. Like y'all were making like bread for like the first 3 months. You know what I mean? Like like that's crazy to me. And like I think it's it's a good year for bread, literally chasing bread, but rather, like a lot of happiness. I think a lot of people are going to finally like really scratch that itch that they had inside for a minute. You know what I mean? I think that's what I see for 2021 is a lot of people finally being like, all right, I know this whole COVID thing, kind of this new normal or whatever. So how do we operate and within that? You know what I mean?
Word.
So.
I mean, I like that answer.
It's a very Gary B, Tony Robbins-esque answer.
Let's start pushing that type of content. They're kind of famous.
Right. And right on character, this is where I would quote like Nipsey Hussle, you know what I mean? Like a screen grab of like the Victory Lap album will come on.
We'll get our graphics guy to do that.
That's my favorite album to get to feel that way when I want to feel empowered. Hell yeah.
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 Great album. Mm-hmm. What about, did you have any time to think about an actual person?
So I like that you guys talked about Lynn rappers, and honestly, I got to do some more work on it. But I guess if I was to choose a quick persons for biggest 2021, or I hope to have biggest 2021s, is the boys, Rowdy Rebel, Bobby Shmurda. I think a lot of us is waiting for them to come home, and I hope to see good things from them from a music perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Grindhouse. I was waiting for you. We brought you on.
Yeah, what happened to us, dude? You rooting against us right now?
Damn.
No, I mean, like Grindhouse is always on the grind. So you know what I'm saying? If you always on the up, how can you have a big year when it's gonna be a big life? You know what I'm saying?
Shit!
Crazy.
All right, you redeem yourself there. That was good. Actually, so there's one thing I want to add here, and this could be, I didn't really think of this one till now, but like, what do you think? Sort of like in the mainstream, who's gonna have a big year? The big rappers.
I don't know. I saw some things about Big Sean, right? Because I listened to his last work, and I actually was really a big fan of it. I felt like he had a lot of good opportunities, and I kind of think that he'd be an artist that, more so of like, I don't know, there's no fact behind it, but I could hope that he does good things for next year. I think a lot of his work is it's from a different perspective, a lot of growth he could tell from his lyricism and stuff like that. And I kind of could see that. I know that they just talked about whatever him and Janae just did an album, video together, and all that good stuff. At least from what I saw on Instagram, and I didn't check it out yet, but I think that he's an artist that I could see doing pretty good in the mainstream.
Big Sean's gonna have a trash year this year. You mark my word. I'm just kidding.
Jesus.
I'm gonna go with Morey though. I think Morey is gonna have a breakout year. I think there's so much talent that dude has.
I hope so.
Visible, and
he deserves it.
That guy is like just has talent, just like dripping from his sweat. You know what I'm saying, or whatever, from his forehead. So I think he's gonna have a great year. I'm not sure. I don't think he's gonna. I don't know what that means, if he's gonna be a superstar or whatever like that. But I think he's definitely gonna have a breakout year. I think a lot of people know who Morey is. He already has a hit with Quicksand. I think that guy I think can find hits because he has a natural musical sound. Is his voice? It's not like he's using all sorts of crazy whatever. Like he's just gifted. And so I think he's going to be a big artist coming to 2021. We'll have that breakout.
Sure, you bring up a good point here, Ed. Sorry, Kurt.
No, you can go ahead.
I was gonna ask you guys, where are y'all listening to music nowadays?
Spotify
No,
mostly.
not
Wait,
like what
oh, like
app or whatever, but just
platform.
in
Okay.
general, you know? Yeah.
Music in general, I would have to say, it's funny. Mostly, it's a good blend of local hip hop, local meaning Boston, Brockton, Lynn, um, and mainstream hip hop. Usually more leaning towards like that, like I don't know, like that East Coast sound than anything. But
But are
also
you
some.
but are you listening to that like in your house? Do you listen to that in the whip?
Oh, gotcha.
Like, you know what I
Bro, I'm
mean?
listening. I listen to music constantly, so I'm listening. I'm on my bike when I'm exercising in the morning. I'm on my bicycle. I'm listening to music. Then I always have a playlist. Either I'm like watching. I usually like because the TV's right in front of me. I'll watch music videos while I'm working out. And
Mm,
usually I watch a lot more music videos that way and listen to music that way. I go on walks down the beach or runs with fucking this guy right here. And
mm,
obviously listen to music that way. I love driving and fucking listen to music. That's my favorite element to listen to music. So I would say that's a huge. I always give music that I'm actually like trying to like digest. I give it the car test. That you have to.
mm,
You have to, yeah.
mm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say just because now that I'm not commuting, just mostly like on my headphones or
Bus stop
yeah, no, computer speakers. Um,
at the supermarket.
Obviously in the car when I do drive,
mm.
but just driving less. But
Yeah, I found this new spot, right? The bathroom, oddly enough,
when you're taking a poo,
is a nut.
you just
Yeah, you know, shower, shaving, whatever, right?
Just naked, bobbing your head crazy.
Well, yeah, because like it's kind of funny because like you know there's like that back in the day they said like you sound better singing in the shower because of the echoes or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So it's like the car is like, you know, to me the car is like it depends on what you're doing, where you're going, right? But in the shower, I feel like it's like is it in the morning? Is it, you know, at night after you run or whatever? And I found it interesting because music really does sound different in there, and it has like a totally different like, you know, response. I feel, and you know, when we get into later topics in the day, like I'll definitely talk about more of that. But I was just curious because like when you talk about your favorite artists or like upcoming artists or like, you know, people that you want to see break out or what success is, it's like I think like especially like during right now, like there's a lot of new ways people are listening to music. It's not like you're just at your office or something. You know, I think it's like there's a lot of different ways
At
to
the office
digest it
this
now.
year, yeah. People want to listen to
Yeah.
music in the office this year.
Mhm. All right.
cool. Did I say my thing, my prediction for mainstream? I don't know if I did.
No. No.
Okay. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna say Kendrick. I'm gonna hope that we get a Kendrick album and he's gonna have a massive
Mm.
year. Uh,
You
Hopefully
can't
that
go wrong.
happens.
You can't go wrong with him, J. Cole, and Drake having a major year
Yeah.
because they're all expected to release something. They all didn't release something because 2020, and they're all expected to release something. So yeah, I expect them to have a great year for sure.
And that's a good segue into my next topic. So supposedly, Drake is supposed to drop an album this month.
What'd you
Uh,
think about his haircut, real quick? You think it was cute?
I think that was photoshopped.
Nah. Didn't he post it?
And he posted it, but it looks like it was photoshopped.
What'd you think
I have
about
to
it?
look this up.
You like it?
Very emo.
So yeah,
Very emo.
that's your thing.
But isn't
Yeah.
like hair like
You're a suicide girl,
artist?
today, aren't you?
Yeah, totally.
Oh Jesus, guys, come on, but like, give me some jokes here.
But I isn't hair like representative of an artist's like creative state or something like that?
I don't know. I've never heard that, but
I
what's your take on
I
that,
would think,
Edwin?
yeah, like usually like when you're like facial hair, I feel like when you're like going through like the album, you're making an album. You always grow out the
Mm-hmm.
facial hair and you don't shave until after the album's done.
It's
You know,
almost like the hockey playoff sort of thing. Grow your
Mm-hmm.
beard out. till it's over. But
Hmm.
yeah, do you like the haircut, Edwin? Like his hair?
I thought he looked beautiful.
That's good. No, I'm glad you felt that way about him.
No, I liked it on him. I thought it was. He should have had like a rose on it. You know, like if you threw a little rose on it.
Didn't like the heart.
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
No, I think that it would have accompanied the heart really well if he had a rose. That's my only critique. But I thought it looked great.
All right. Well,
He looked like a couple people I went to high school
Next time
with.
you go to your barber, Critta, be like, yo, show him the picture, Drake. Be like, give me one of those.
I want this.
That's what I want. Make me a certified lover boy.
Oh, man.
Next episode, I just got the heart on my head. But
All right, so he's doing an album, is that right?
He's doing an album. He's supposed to drop this month. I'm gonna say it's probably not gonna happen this month. And why I say that is because obviously the rollout of the vaccine and all that bullshit is not going well.
You think that's gonna ruin Drake's rollout? The vaccine?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Because
what you
play
want
shows and things like that. It's like,
you want to put money on it?
Yeah.
Buy me lunch. Buy me lunch if he releases this month.
All right.
You buy me lunch. I think he releases this month.
I said I will.
I think
it's not going to happen this month. I don't know.
I think he's releasing this month. I think either him.
I think it's going to be closer to summer when he drops.
Yeah.
No, I think that it's possible. It's possible, but I think that somebody's gonna want to release Q1 in preparation for setting up a summer tour if the album does crazy numbers. And they're gonna want. I think that having that like 6 month of planning and figuring out with like COVID, like what to do and how it's gonna be. You know, whether it's gonna be a virtual tour or a part virtual tour, part whatever. I think either Drake, Kendrick, or Cole are gonna be tempted to go Q1. More so one because it's almost like I think like you know how like you don't want to drop generally on the like you don't unless you're trying to step on somebody's release, like you want to make sure you're the only person releasing during that time, that way you can get all the numbers. I think somebody's gonna want to be tempted to go first because everybody else is too afraid to release right now. And I feel like Q1 is still a good time. Like right now, it's still a good time to release because you can still do big numbers because everybody's afraid to release. If you release now, you're gonna do big numbers, and then you can set up for that summer tour when summer comes around because the vaccine.
It depends. I mean, like it might even be like because my thing, Drake, I feel like he's big on those like summer songs kind of thing, like the song of the summer. So I could just see it definitely like mid spring, end of spring. Or yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean usually he drops in fall, but typically, right?
I want an Italian sub from Mathis, by the way.
All right,
that sounds delicious.
That I mean, dude, you could have got a calzone. You could have like
no. Everybody decided.
Yo, speaking of calzones, I made a blue zone at home the other day.
Did you really?
Yeah, that was it was messy, but it was actually pretty. It made me I guess like respect more of what the great people at Athos do.
Can you get a blue zone in San Diego?
No, they wouldn't even know what you're talking about.
How's sub shops?
They're not the same, man. Like it's like I don't know. Like I think like subs and sub sandwiches tend to be more mainstream. Like you got to go to like a Jimmy John's or like a Subway or something, But like I can't walk into like there's not a whole lot of I guess like mom and pop sub shops around here, at least in my area. So, but even harder to find is like a good pizza spot too.
That's sad, bro.
Damn.
Although I fucking love how beautiful San Diego is.
Yeah.
But they don't got subs, dude. They don't got subs, so can't do it.
But speaking of beautiful, what Drake I think his pocket is though is that like end of winter just before spring time where like okay like You know, like he starts to kind of release that music that makes you look forward to the good weather and like
Well,
wanting to be outside.
Yeah, I'm already 0 for 1 because I said he was going to release October. We had that conversation. I said he was going to release October. Obviously, Corona.
I mean, a lot of people were saying that. So
yeah, I think Corona pushed back his release. J. Cole was supposed to release the off season, and then I forgot what the name of his actual the main album is. So he's supposed to release 2 things. You know, so I think if it's not Kendrick, if it's not Drake this month, I think it's Cole because he's gonna release the off season at some point because that's the roll up for the album. So yeah, it's either gonna be Drake or Kendrick that releases this month. I think I want to oppose you on the Drake just because I want to, it's a nice little wager. But I do think Cole is also gonna drop this month. I think Drake and Cole are gonna drop this month.
Same month.
Yep.
I don't know if they would do that, but
yeah, I don't know either.
That would definitely
I feel like
stir
Drake,
up some controversy, but
yeah,
it's gonna be a big month of music.
I mean, I welcome it. Like, I want all the albums.
We're waiting for something to talk about. Yeah, what's been happening in music lately? We're not like, what are we talking about lately? Dude, seriously, like, there hasn't been like, what news are we really fucking talking about right now? This is a perfect time for somebody to come and drop some shit on us. Just saying.
You're right.
But maybe it is a COVID thing. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be competing against the vaccine.
I just think like Drake's literally the biggest hip hop artist.
Drake is the vaccine, bro. Drake is the vaccine.
We just need a Drake album, and then everyone's just vaccinated.
You should call his album Pure. Fuck Certified Lover Boy.
Honestly, I was thinking he would get into his bag for like Valentine's Day. You know, like Drake's music is either like some real, you know, driving home from the club by yourself types, or like on the other side where he's just like toxically like in love. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, and plus also he has a kid now. So that could also throw in any types of variables on that album.
I think that Drake releasing Certified Lover Boy, although I'm sure like it'll do fine, the numbers will be great. I do also think that this is kind of not the greatest time for like that album because like, I don't know. I feel like this is probably the one time, like if you look at like the fucking the level of promiscuous sex happening and people hooking up, I think it's been a tough year for that. If you're not in a relationship this year, you're not certified. I mean, kudos to you if you are, but it's a hard year to be a certified lover boy. Hard year. So the Great Depression of certified lover boys, in my opinion. So terrible time to drop this album because nobody's fucking like that right now.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not fucking like that. That's for sure. But that's not to say that there ain't people out there that are fucking like that.
Oh, I'm sure there is. I'm just saying, no, but think about it. You can't go to the club right now. That's a lot of people's bag. The club are a lot of people's bag on both sides, women and men. You can't go to the club. Where else are you supposed to fuck?
I don't know. You still got the DMs. You still got all these like dating apps. I mean, think about it, man. The most perfect time for people to be hooking up is end of the world. Wait, what? It's going down to
I said if it's going down the dating apps, I haven't seen it.
Yes, same.
No, yeah, I got an email from a dating app the other day being like, yo, you need to get back on this because the other day was the most active time on our app. And I was like, yo, what kind of data point are y'all trying to sell me right now? Like, I don't
it was the other day. It was past tense.
Yeah, for real. that is post nut clarity right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh man. All right.
What were we talking about? I totally forgot what the topic was.
We were talking about Drake dropping, J. Cole dropping, all that stuff.
Yeah. I'm going on. I said what I said.
All right.
So you think Cole's probably?
What was that?
You think Cole's probably in the studio right now, probably changing up the tone of his album? Because it's like, I'm just thinking like I'm not I'm not in the music industry and stuff, but you guys are probably trying to prepare or rather predict what's going to be hot in the next year or so, right? From a sound and like topics perspective. So it's like if COVID happened and you were rapping about stuff in 2019, right? It's like how do you kind of like get people to start buying into like whatever the topic is? So it's like I feel maybe those artists are back in the studio or possibly deciding that like, hey, like the music we made just isn't gonna hit right now. You know what I mean? So like they got to go back and kind of like, get back on the drawing board and like, I could see Drake getting into his sad boy bag because definitely right now is sad boy hours. You know what I mean? Like I could see people listening to Marvin's Room at home.
I could see that. Yeah, definitely fitting. All right, guys, do you guys want to jump to album reviews?
Let's get it.
Cool.
Go.
All right, so let's do like a big album, then we'll do a local, and then we'll do another big album.
Okay.
Let's go to Jump. I don't even know what I was about to say. Playboi Carti, Whole Lot of Red.
You say Jump the House. Let's go to Jump the House. It's not on there. I know it's not on there. You're reading nothing.
Wait,
it's
what?
on the album though. Jump the House, the song on the album.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say that?
No, I don't even know what I was about to say.
You said Jump, so I was gonna say you were gonna say Jump the House because Jump the House is okay.
I don't know why I said Jump.
Before that, let me backtrack and say that there has been a extreme amount of hate for a Whole Lot of Red. I don't know if you guys have your ear to the fucking streets right now like that, but there has been an extreme amount of hate for this album because it took Carti 3 years to drop. Apparently, it got leaked a whole bunch of times before that. He like kept teasing the album and then not releasing it and teasing it and not releasing it. And then finally he fucking releases it. And apparently this is a whole lot of trash, is what a whole lot of people are saying right now.
Damn.
I wasn't waiting for this album like that. And I feel like because I wasn't waiting for this body of work for 3 fucking years, like some Carti fans were waiting for. I didn't have that level of expectation. I thought this album was fine. I thought it was a really good album. I didn't think it was a album of the year. I'm not saying is some sort of like amazing fucking classic body of work, but I thought it was a really good album. I thought, yeah, sure, it was basic. I didn't think he was like, he's no Nas. I don't think I'm expecting Carti to be like the lyricism fucking institution. He's a vibe. He's that's kind of his. I assumed would be his lane. Like every Carti song I enjoyed is kind of like a bop. It's not like he's like rapping crazy on it. So I thought it was good. And Jump the House. I know he's only saying Jump the House like 50 times on the record. I like the record. I thought it was high energy. I was on like literally like I'm shredding ass on the fucking bicycle at my my living room, like listening to the song. I liked it. It was a vibe, and I think it's like, especially if it's like, I think it was a good workout vibe too. It was a high energy album. I don't know. Yeah, I know it wasn't the most amazing classic body of work, but it was a good album. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I liked it. I think it's the first like Playboi Carti like album I've really got into. But yeah, I mean, like you said, high energy. You could definitely like hear the Kanye influence in there. I would say a notable song would be Metamorphosis. Has Kid Cudi in there. Yeah, super dope. But yeah, definitely something I'll throw on, when I'm running or at the gym or whatever.
I will say it does sound like the production of the album itself. I really liked it. It was, I mean, Kanye West executive produced this album, and it sounds very, very similar to Yeezus.
Definitely.
In that like electronic,
like moody, dark,
punk,
like
hip hop punk kind of like thing. And that was the best part of the album was that sound. in my opinion. And the rapping itself was like I said, like it wasn't anything great, and especially on the song like Metamorphosis, like I done changed my swag. Like it's like you're just pretty much like talking into a mic, but it was still kind of fire.
I honestly, I listened to it like while I was doing other stuff too. I wasn't shredding ass, but I was just working on stuff, and I felt kind of old, honestly.
Ass, right?
Yeah, I just eat ass. I don't shred it. But like, but like, yo, like honestly, I felt old in the way of like, y'all ever been to Warp Tour?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Like I was, yeah.
Dude, we've been, all three of us have been together. But yeah,
I
know you're saying it for podcast effect, so people know that all three of us have been to Warp Tour.
Yeah. So
together,
so it's like, when I was listening to the album, right, I was actually genuinely surprised by some of the content of the lyrics. I don't know nothing about Playboi Carti. Playboi Carti is not on any of my Spotify playlists. I've heard his name, but I don't listen to his music. No disrespect, but he's just not, I didn't know anything about him. You know what I mean? And
Magnolia, in New York, I'm Millie Rock, hide it in my sock.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, probably not. You know what I mean? But I
got a record. Yeah, go ahead.
But when I was listening to it, I was really surprised because they talked about like, label like issues, and they were talking about like stuff that was like kind of nestled into that high energy stuff. And like, even though they were repeating words for the hook and all that stuff, and like is a sound that I'm not used to, I couldn't help but have like this moment of flashback where I was like, yo, if this was during Warp Tour, or like during like a high energy crowd situation, this whole album makes total sense. Like it's just so much, you just want to wow out to the music, and then you actually listen to it. Like if you hear the lyrics and you like kind of digest it, I kind of felt like it had a lot of meaning behind a lot of the stuff that they were actually finally talking about in some senses. And I respected it a lot. Honestly, it was a really surprising album that, like, it's not for me. I know it's not for me, but I could really see how like it's basically angry punk rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they just need spiky clothes and like, whatever. Like because like think about it, like when you think about punk rock, right? You think like weird hair, like fashion choices that are kind of like against the social norms. The music is really sad or like really intense. You know what I mean? And I was like, this is just a genre of rap that, that's not for me. Like, I'm not like an angry teenager or whatever. But like, I could see how like somebody could really mess with this, and like, it's not bad stuff. It's just, I can't relate in that mindset. You know what I mean? Like they were like talking about like labels messing, like, like messing with the label, and like how like they're gonna screw you over and we don't need you no more. And I was like, damn, like, a lot of other rappers are talking about the same shit, but they put it in this package where it's like, I kind of want to jump around and push somebody. Yeah. You know what I
mean? His ad libs are really like interesting and like entertaining to like listen to. Like the sounds he makes is like kind of crazy, but it definitely adds to it.
What are you talking about? Give us an example.
Yeah, can you give us
an ad lib?
Of,
you know what an ad lib is.
Oh, I know what an ad lib is. Which ad lib are you talking about?
He has so many.
Right.
You say one.
I'm not doing that.
Oh, come on, bro. You can't say one ad lib. I said like two of them. I done changed my swag.
Yeah, I don't need to say it because you said it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. You got it. You got it, bro.
I know. I'm good. I don't need to ad lib for you.
I would pay tons of money to listen to Edwin just go over ad libs from this album. Bro, like
give a review just with the ad libs.
You know what's funny? I don't know if you guys been. I mean, you guys have been following. I don't the side drama of this whole album release, the whole Iggy Azalea thing.
A little bit, nothing like, I don't know too much. I know that he like cheated.
So at first, I almost thought it was like part of the rollout. Like I thought this was kind of like a way for Playboi to like drum up more like news views to like try to get more album sales. And I think it kind of ended up working in that way, regardless if it was intentional or not. but Iggy Azalea pretty much blasted how fucking terrible of a dad he is on pretty much all over the internet, saying like, he spent like, like spent like his while she was giving birth to their kid, he was with Lil Vert playing like PS4 and shit like that. Like she was just airing out like all their shit, and I don't know. It didn't make him look like the best of people at all. And like he's like apparently like it's Christmas and he's releasing this album, and she's like, "Wow, I can't believe you ditched your family to like for an album release. Like you like literally canceled on us for an album release." So it was messy. The whole thing was messy. It was nasty. And then he posted like a couple of days later, he posted like a video of him and his son like hanging out. So it was like him trying to clean it up. It was nasty. The whole thing was nasty. The nastiest part about it, though, ironically enough, didn't have anything to do with Iggy or Carti. But I don't know if you guys follow the channel Trap Lord Ross on YouTube.
Yeah.
He does a lot of hip hop like stories and shit like that. Like he's like academics for the UK pretty much. He did a whole lot of red review, I guess, and it was literally the most cringeworthy fucking video I've ever seen in my life. He's literally like he's pretty much kissing the feet of Iggy Azalea, calling her like hip hop royalty, and like I get that Playboi Carti is probably like not the greatest of fathers, or seemingly not the greatest of fathers, but he was just saying a whole lot of shit that straight up should get him shot. Like like you can't get away with saying the type of shit that he was saying, and like even I was mad afterwards. I was like, why is this guy being so brazen and just insulting everybody? Because then he started insulting like a up and coming artist, like he was like nobody cares, but like he was like a fat dude. And he actually the guy was actually super charismatic. His name is Mario Judah. And like apparently like Mario Judah like kind of like stole Playboi Carti's rollout, because this album, the Playboi Carti album was supposed to be released like for 3 years and it hasn't. And so Mario Judah kind of like hijacked the release by like being like, if you don't release the album, I'm gonna release the album for you. And then he released like his version of the album. And it was kind of dope because it was like he went along with it and made a video, and it was kind of funny. It was all right. The song was okay, but people really liked that. And anyway, fucking Trap Lord Ross in the video is like just making fun of this dude just because he's fat. It was just like the most like this dude.
Like just fat shaming.
Fucked with Trap Lord Ross. Like I really liked his channel up until that video, and now I'm like, dude, you're just a piece of shit simp. Like it's so funny because like usually simps are like, you would think they're like the nice guys finish last type of dude. He's literally a piece of shit and a simp at the same time. There's no helping that guy. So yeah, fuck that dude. Anyway, what do we
starting beef on the pod? All right.
Damn. You really went in, Ed. Like oh man.
All right. Let's talk about Wst Taylor, Flacco West.
Word. Who wants to go? I already won.
I'll go first, I guess. So obviously we were friends with West. We've had him on the podcast a lot. We've seen him grow as an artist.
Shout outs.
Shout out to Wst Taylor. But yeah, I mean, I love the new record.
Also, low key, high key, we spent like 5 hours just chilling with Wes yesterday,
and we talked about the record too. So,
and talked about the record, but it was a great conversation. Shout out to Wes. But anyway,
and also Names B. We know names as well.
Who's now going by Cardone, by the way.
Cardone. So definitely, I hear he might be dropping some music soon. So definitely check that out when that drops. So yeah, I love the record. I think it's dope. I love like his music because like, especially this record, because he sounds like really polished and sort of like really finding his sound in this one. And also like he's so good at like putting features on his albums, because it's always like people that like no one has the same style like in his music, so you're getting so much from each song. You know, you have your Mac Dolo, you have your Khalil Jacobs, you have Sanita. Like, no one sounds alike, and so you know that's definitely something, you know, that always sticks out on his records. Is, you know, there's no song that sounds alike. Um, so yeah, definitely check that album out. It's dope. What you think, Ed?
I'll pass it. I feel like I've talked way too much. I'll pass it to John, and I'll say something.
Yeah. So I knew a little bit about Wes from you guys in the background of like, a little bit of just his music and stuff like that. And honestly, listening to this album, earlier in the pod, I talked a little bit about like where do you guys actually consume your music, right? And West's album actually really challenged me because I was trying to find the right pocket to listen and really absorb it correctly.
Yeah.
I listened to it in the bathroom. I listened to it like, in my living room while like trying to like do stuff. Like I listened to while I was working, even bumped it in the car, because it was a relatively short album, so you could absorb it very, very quickly. I think it was like what, 7 songs, 8 songs, or something like that. And right,
yeah, it's an EP.
yeah, and so yeah, like I really wanted to like absorb because West is, like I guess a local artist, and I wanted to really understand where he was coming from and who he was. And what kind of like I pulled away from it was that has a lot of like, you could tell there's that West Coast influence to it, but it's still a twist of his own sound. At least that's what I pulled from it. And it felt a lot like there's a lot of complex lyrical play in there. Like honestly, there's some times where I was like, well, I gotta listen to that again because I really didn't, you know what I mean? Like it's like reading a book where you just read the words, but you didn't really actually like pull the story from it. Then when you actually do like finally give the time to let the picture really come together, I was like, okay, I see where he's going with it. The sound was definitely something that took me a little bit to be like, okay, like I need to like get used to it, see where he's coming from. West is a very complex guy. And one of my favorite songs, if we're going to talk about favorite songs off it, was like, I did like that Life and Death song. I thought that was cool. And, I guess my piece on how I see West going is that like, I wrote a note down here that like, immediately when I really understood the album, it was like how it took me a long time because I digest music weird, and so it took me like a year to finally come around and say that Good Kid, Mad City was a classic. I don't know if you guys remember that, but like, like Ed and Chris, y'all were the ones who were talking about like, yo, this album's a classic. This album's a classic. I'm over there like, let me listen to it more, like let me come back and let me put the book down and come back to it.
I told you though. I told
you. I remember
the second I listened to it, I was like, this is a classic. Don't tell me nothing.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't get it, but let me come back to it, like maybe Ed's not totally, off his rocker. You know what I mean? And so this album, honestly, like when you talk about Good Kid, Mad City, it caused me to want to look into his previous work. Section 80 when he was known as K. Dot and like all those other types of work before Kendrick Lamar was Kendrick Lamar. My feedback of West was that this particular album gave me a little bit of Section 80 vibes. And I felt like I was kind of hearing the precursor of something really great because West has a lot of talent. He's really good at the drawing up the stories and understanding like how to like really piece together a really, really strong song. And he has all the elements there, but I could see there's a lot of growth that he's going to get into where it's like, personally, like, I don't know if I pulled enough from all those songs. I could probably listen to it another 20 times and come back and tell you that it's totally different from what I have right now. But one of the things I kind of wanted to see more of or hear more of was like, how like Kendrick kind of like does this thing where he has an experience in his life, makes a song about it, but he paints a picture about the situation. Like the you're in a Toyota Camry, quarter tank of gas with orange soda kind of situation. Like I think Wes is a really, really complicated guy, and I'd like to hear more, stories like that from him. I probably have to listen to whatever it is you guys talked about yesterday with him during your 5-hour session because honestly, when you were like, yeah, like we talked about everything, I got to really understand him as a person and all that stuff. I was like, man, like that's literally what I was thinking listening to his album. Was like, I want to know about him a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like just like let's see what's under the you know, the layers and stuff like that. Because he's a very layered guy. His songs are not easy to listen to. So that was my piece on that.
What was your like favorite song on the album?
Life and Death, I think I've written on here. Yeah.
That is a dope song. That's a dope song. I ended up like calling Wes right after I listened to this album because I thought it was fucking amazing. I think, like I told Wes, he did a great job of pushing himself every release to be better and better. And I think like that's evident in all like West Street, Gifted Underachiever, Flacco West, like even like the collaborative joints he did with T-Bone, Nasty Now, and all of them. To the truth, my bad. This album, I mean, first of all, my favorite part about the album itself, aside from my favorite song, the sequencing of how he sequenced the song was my favorite thing. I think Wes has a really good ear, not just for music and building, and really kind of like really utilizing his sound to the best of his abilities. I also think he has a really good ear for like creating a song. I really love how in Parking Lot Pimpin' he had that intro before it went into the song. It really kind of put you in that place before it got into the song. I thought that was outstanding, and that's why that song itself is probably my favorite on the album, because I laughed like listening to that skit, like, or not even that skit, that intro. I was like, oh my god, I didn't expect that. And then it goes into the song, and you're in that zone already. So I think he does a good job of really kind of sequencing his album, putting the right music, putting the right sound, and putting the right people. Also, like Curtis said, features, putting the right people on the songs, and the way he sequenced it with Sirloin or Sirleon, and then Parking Lot Pimpin', then Choppers and Pose, then sliding with Dutch Casey, then 7-7, and then ending it with Life or Death. I thought that sequencing, like you couldn't do any better. I thought that was a great way to begin the album and go throughout the album and end it with Life or Death, like contemplating that kind of heavy kind of nature. Amazing. Great job. I think he's, you know, we talk about people who's going to have a big 2021. Wes is definitely on that list of people who's going to have a big 2021.
For sure. Definitely.
But yeah, there's a lot. Obviously, there's a lot of people in one that's gonna have a big 2021. But shout out to Wes, man. He every release he kept raising the bar, and this is another one.
Yep, exactly. Keep upgrading. So, definitely. Actually, so what was your favorite song, Edwin?
Parking Lot Pimpin'. Parking Lot Pimpin'.
Cool. I liked Choppers and Poles.
That was a close second for mine, honestly. That was a tough song to choose over.
You got Mac Dolo and Sunita on there on the hook. It was great.
My second favorite is probably 7. No, it's hard. That second slot is hard. My first favorite was definitely Parking Lot Pimpin', just because there was a lot, like I just thought it was a great beat, number one, and shout out to the Twins. I think they made that beat. Great intro, and then overall just a great song with some great raps. And Mac Dolo also was really, really great on that song, just perfect sound for it. Life or Death was really good. 7-7 was really good. Choppers and Pose I really liked. That was my least favorite, but only because that's more of the that's more for me the type of rap that was like a radio friend, like that's like a more radio kind of friendly rap, you know, that you would want to get on the radio. And those just like in my life, like those typically weren't the songs I'm looking for when it comes to rap. So that's probably my least favorite, just because it's that like the you know, it definitely is more radio, meant for the radio play type of shit, you know. I like that hard shit, you know.
Yeah.
Shit. Well, the drink that he was describing in Sir Leone definitely sounded a little bit crazy, you know. So.
What drink was that? I'm forgetting.
I'm not going to repeat the lyrics, but I definitely can't remember all of it. But I just remember he was listing off like liquors, I'm pretty sure. I was like, what? I can't drink all of that.
I don't even, bro, I barely drink anymore. I barely fucking drink anymore. I don't even know liquor, bro.
Never seen it, never had it.
All right, you wanna talk about The Voice?
Yes, by Lil Durk.
Lil Durk. Did you say Little Durk?
Lil Durk, right?
No, you said Little Durk, which is funny because it's
Oh,
no, it's just funny because it's like and like when you think of I always think of I've been watching a lot of the Boondocks like lately, and like they always poke fun at white people. And like it'll be just small shit like that where instead of calling somebody Lil, they're like little, you know, like
I didn't even know I said little. I thought I said Lil.
no.
But real talk though, is there really a way to say little cool like Lil?
Lil,
like
especially when you're conscious of it and you're trying to say it when you're conscious of the fact that it sounds weird, Lil.
Yeah, now it's like I can't even say it.
I can't say Lil because I'm thinking of saying
Lil now. Lil.
Like if you also saw him in person, do you call him Durk? Like Lil Durk, Lil, like what?
Lil Durk. You have to say it with like a fucking Lil Durk.
like saying Lil Durk sounds like you're saying his whole name. You know what I mean?
That's what you have to do. You have to like put it. Lil Durk has to be one because if you say Lil Durk, it sounds Lil.
Okay, so you can't space it. You just gotta
go with it. Lil Durk. Anyway, what do we think about the voice?
I'm not gonna say his name again, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about the album.
What'd you think?
I like it. Honestly, definitely got some sort of like Future. You know, Future goes into like his emotional bag, but he still has that sort of like melodic sort of like effect on his voice. I got a lot of that vibe in this. But overall, you know, I don't know if it's something I'll continuously like have it on rotation, but it's a pretty good album. I mean, it's doing numbers, so you know a lot of people like the album. So,
you would rather watch The Voice than listen to The Voice?
Wait, what's up?
Wow.
The show? What are you talking about? Nice fucking dad joke, Jesus.
John,
man. All right. So I'm again like I'm a hip hop like one dimensional guy, so I appreciate being given you know, tasks of listening to these albums. It definitely doesn't feel like a chore. Durk was his album was honestly one of my favorites of the three, just because I felt like, you know, just to backtrack, not that any of the other work wasn't good. There's just that Durk, like you said, right? It's making numbers, and it's definitely in a much easily digestible, you know, piece of work. You know what I mean? The beats were good. I thought his lyrics were very surprising. You know, because I'm big on just, you know, is it painting the story? Is it talking about experiences or whatever? And Durk honestly didn't. You know, if I was to be talking about Durk before this album, I would never have known that he would end up, you know, creating music that kind of like it's thought provoking. You know what I mean? You think about life, you think about, you know, the bad times, the, you know, the troubles or whatever. And I actually listened to this, you know, just to give the space of where I had like playing. I was actually working on some stuff, and then like I was like, oh, this isn't just, you know, hustle music. This isn't, you know, Future's, you know, you in the trap counting money and rubber banding it up. This is like focused music where like you really got some shit on your chest that you got to think about and really make some thoughts around. And honestly, it made me want to just toss it in the car and, you know, go for a drive at night. You know what I mean? Whether it be alone or with the homie, like, you know what, you know, Ed, what we used to do in high school kind of thing, you know, just kind of cruise with no destination, you know, because this whole album like really made me want to just like go and be like, man, like let's really start addressing some of those things that bother you. You know what I mean? Or think about those things and figure out a solution. And, you know, I was really surprised, honestly, that this album made me feel that way. I thought it would be like some, you know, Chi-Town-esque, like, you know, like hopping music that makes you either want to go to the club or go out and commit a crime or something, you know? But this stuff is like...
That's what, yeah, I initially thought that's what it was going to be, but
same.
I was actually surprised.
It's really good stuff. I mean, I could see why it's popular. Honestly, I don't have a specific song that stands out that I'll be like, yeah, this goes on my personal playlist for, rotation kind of thing. If I listen to it more, I'm sure I could extract one of those. But yeah, it's a good album. It's long too.
Yeah, 16 songs.
Yeah, dude, I was
somewhere around
scrolling
there.
for a while.
Yeah, I would say I was surprised by it at first. The first three-ish songs I didn't love. But then when it got to the middle part of the album, I really started to like it a lot more. Favorite song on the record is still Trappin' with King Von. I thought that song was hard as fuck.
Good song.
I also thought that song was mad disrespectful. And it almost made me feel weird listening to it because of how disrespectful that song was. But damn, they don't fuck around in Chi-Town. That's one thing, that's for sure. Because like shit, Lil Durk didn't have to do that, but he did that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But yeah, that's a hard ass song. But shit, these dudes when they beef, when Chicago beefs, they beef. You know,
They go in.
they known for beef. And I'm not talking about the hot dog either, dude. Like, they known for the beef, man. That was like that song. There's a couple times where they mentioned Tuka, smoking a Tuka pack, and like I don't know if you guys seen that video of Tuka's mom crying, just being like, why are you disrespecting my son like that? Like, he was like, he loved, he has a family, like he left, people behind. And we had like you making fun of the dead by saying you're smoking on the Tuka pack is like, and calling it weed, like, smoking that Tuka. That shit's fucked up. And that's what she was saying. She's like crying in tears saying it. It just like, it made me feel away. But it just makes you realize like Chicago don't fuck around when it comes to this shit, man. Like they that like don't disrespect the dead shit does not apply in Chi-Town apparently, because like there was multiple times on this album where he like Lil Durk is openly just taking shots at like Tuka and shit like that. It's like, okay, word.
Yeah.
I mean, the song's hard, but shit.
Yeah, if I had a favorite, Lamborghini Mirrors definitely was one that stood out to me of a song that I'd want to continuously maybe I even add to my personal play. Maybe that's what I'm going to talk about in these album reviews. My personal playlist that get added on if it's really hit and it goes on I have a driving playlist.
Do it. Make a personal playlist. We'll put it on advertise it through Grindhouse. John's personal fucking playlist. John's personal fucking playlist.
This is where you turn the bass up to like whatever the max is. You know what I mean? And you gotta let the block know.
Roll yourself a super pack.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, don't do that. Don't.
Yeah, no.
All right. Well, that's all the albums.
Okay. I'm reloaded. So that's it. That's all we got. If you like what we're talking about, make sure you show us some love, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button, all, whatever they say, like, subscribe, bell button, all, like, subscribe, bell button, all. It just
buy some merch.
You to see more of our content out there. We have plenty of content. We're making more content. We got some really dope stuff, in the pipeline for 2021. So definitely keep an eye out. And again, grindhouse.store to shop. I know Christmas is over, but we still have dope hoodies to keep you warm and nice mugs for your coffee. And yeah, I will see you next week for episode 55. Peace.